Namaste to everyone. Swami Vivekananda Study Center of Mangalore University, yet another Viveka the series of lecture on the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda is happy to present to you all. Swami Vivekananda believed in younger generation and the modern generation. He said, my faith in younger generation and modern generation, out of them will come my workers. They will work the whole problem like lions. In this regard, Mangalore University established Swami Vivekananda Study Center on the auspicious birthday of Swami Vivekananda on January 12th, 2021, with the divine presence of Pujya Swami Jitakamananji and the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, Professor Yadapaditaya sir. The center has a clear objective to facilitate the students at large, conducting, gaining a clarity in thoughts, purity in emotions, efficiency in action, thereby awakening the self and contributing to the society. The study center understand and practice and spread the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. It has an objective to undertake publications of books, journals, periodicals, research papers, and digital contents over a period of time. It also has an other objective, say, to organize study circle, youth circle, talks, workshops, seminars, conferences, and activities. In this regard, we were organizing Viveka a series of lectures on life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. We successfully completed 15 lectures in this series, and we are heading toward 16th lecture by Dr. T.G.K. Murthy sir on Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist. As our convener, Professor Shripati Kaluraya sir is also present over here. Due to some technical issue, he couldn't speak, but on behalf of him, I'm glad to welcome you all. It is my privilege when we have among with us Dr. T.G.K. Murthy. Sir is a distinguished scientist from Bengaluru. Sir is a senior most extraordinary scientist, has acquired doctorate from the Adelaide University, Australia. He has served at the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, for 42 years and retired as an outstanding distinguished scientist. Dr. Murthy has published around 100 papers and 10 patents in international journals, and some of the publications were adjudged as the best in the world literature. He developed a number of novel electro-optical systems having application in diverse disciplines such as agriculture, geology, and defense space science. He is the author of a popular book titled Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist, and Swami Vivekananda, holistic science. Over his career, he has given more than 350 talks across the country. Dr. Murthy is a fellow of Indian Academy of Sciences. Sir, on behalf of Mangalore University, Swami Vivekananda Study Center, we welcome you all. We welcome you to this occasion. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Ranjan. Thank you.
Along with us, Dr. Chandrasekhar Sorke, gastroenterologist, SES Hospital, Mangaluru. Sir is a devotee and a volunteer of Ramakrishna Mat, Mangaluru, and his parents, his father, Dr. Chandrasekhar Sorke, and his mother, Bharati Sorke, they are devotees of ashram. They are doing philanthropic work in Mangaluru, and they are taking the medical science as a humanitarian service. Sir, it's our privilege to have you over here. Sir, heartily welcome to you. So, among with us, Dr. Professor Shripati Kaluraya sir. He is the convener of Swami Vivekananda Study Center. Indeed, whenever we take up any initiative from a study center, he always support the entire team for organizing an event in the offline or online. So, sir, on behalf of the study center, I welcome to you, sir. So, among with us, Professor Vishalakshi B. She is from a department of chemistry and Deputy Director of IQAC Mangalore University. Madam, welcome to you, and we are happy that you accepted a vote of thanks note. Thank you, Madam. So here we have invited students from the Mangalore University and the eminents and the citizens of Mangaluru. They are about to join the session, and this is the 16th session in the series. My dear friends, Swami Vivekananda was a multifaceted genius. While his spiritual eminence and profound understanding of India and her culture, history, and the future are well known, his insight in physical education, physical sciences are lesser known. Swamiji was well acquainted with the scientific thoughts of his times and was remarkably acute in his observations and conclusions with regard to the many scientific notions. What is even more important is ample hint he given on ways to train the mind, the unseen power of intuitions, which is vital to all scientific pursuit. My dear friends, this lecture series, this particular lecture, Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist by Dr. T.G.K. Murthy sir, explore this aspect of Swami Vivekananda's personality and how scientific research can benefit from development of intuitive faculty inherent in all a fact which Swami Vivekananda emphasized very often. Sir, over to you. So next we will be glad to hear you on the topic Swami Vivekananda and intuitive scientist. After your talk, our special invitee, Dr. Chandrasekhar Sorke sir will speak, and later on we'll be having a question and answer session from participants. So over to you, Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist.
Thank you, Ranjanji. At the outset, I profusely thank you for bringing me to this platform to share some of my thoughts on Swami Vivekananda and his contributions to science, not only to Indian science, even to the global science. This aspect will be dealt in the next few minutes. Now, my respects to any of the monks of the Ramakrishna order, if they are there, to the senior professors, Professor Sitapati, Sriharpati, Sripati, Professor Visalakshi, Professor Chandrasekhar, and other professors. My namaskars to you all. My good wishes to the young faculty or young students there over there. My love and affection to all of them. With this, I'll just open my talk with the slides. Can I share this slide? Screen screening?
Please share, sir, please. Yeah.
Slideshow, yeah.
Yes.
In the last 15 lectures, I am sure you might have heard much about Swami Vivekananda and his personality, various aspects. So this aspect I will not be dealing much, but still as a reference, I will put my thoughts on him. He is a universal, holistic, unparalleled personality with the combination of Shankara's mind or Einstein's mind also, and Buddha's heart. These three people combined together, I see Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda, before going at his science, let us see what is this Indian science and what is its origin. All of you know very well, India is the golden bird once upon a time, where they have contributed significantly for various disciplines, to producing Vedanta, Upanishads, Puranas on one side, the other side, in all the scientific fields. They made significant contributions. And this Vedanta and yoga, Swami Vivekananda has taken as a first yogi from India to Western countries. After getting acquainted with the Vedanta, Schrodinger, a very well-known Nobel laureate, he says, the unity and continuity of Vedanta are reflected in the unity and continuity of the wave mechanics. It is a wonderful thing. But we have to understand what are the abilities of acquiring this knowledge, how they produce such a profound knowledge, even when the science world itself was not there, and even the tools were not available for those people those days. Swami Vivekananda, he says, the goal of mankind is the knowledge, acquisition of the knowledge. But where is this knowledge? This knowledge is inherent. One has to mind that knowledge, that what Swamiji says. Some of the abilities to acquire this knowledge or the tools, I would say, fundamentally, are the instinct, logic, reason, and intuition. Instinct, it is inherent for every living being, right from that of the animals, birds, to that of the man, without knowing anything. By the very birth itself, the instinctive type of knowledge will be there through which they operate. Man, when he raises his mind to certain level, higher levels of logic and reason, the whole gamut of the knowledge through five senses, the mind and intellect put together, the knowledge has come. And then there is under faculty when the mind is further rise to a higher level with purity, patience, and perseverance, one gets the intuition. This intuition also gives the knowledge about the object. When we are saying about the intuition is the highest form of intelligence that what the research reveals. Even most of the modern Nobel laureates, Paul O'Brien or Henry Bergson or Roger Sperry, they all acknowledge intuition is one of the basic and fundamental thing of highest form of knowledge acquisition. Let us see what Einstein says. The intuitive mind is the sacred gift and rational mind is the faithful servant. Unfortunately, over a period of time, probably he got in his mind the Indian mind and Indian knowledge that he has produced. Unfortunately, in the society, we honored the servant and forgotten the gift of intuition. Now, can we go before calling Swamiji himself as the intuitive scientist? Is there any precedence? If you recall Srinivasa Ramanujan, he is called intuitive mathematician, the man who knew infinity. What he says is that he has not gone in the traditional way of mathematics producing. I have made the special investigation of divergent series in general, and results I got are termed by the local mathematicians as Sartilna. And where this knowledge, again, probably to explain how Srinivasa Ramanujan also has got, it is a big story, but I would say he is the prince of the intuition. Now, if you combine these two things together, on one side, the Western knowledge of logic, reason, instinct, I am deliberately leaving because it is common for everyone. That logic, reason is called phenomenon, as it is knowable by the senses and engineering the external aids and diversification in different knowledge we can acquire. And now, the other type of the knowledge, the ancient Indians, what they got, I call it as noumenon. It is as it is itself, engineering the internal mind, whereas in the phenomena, it is engineering of the external aids, and core unity is in diversity. The very diagram of two sides, it depicts of one side, the eastern side, the other side of the Western thinking in the very early stages. But let me not undermine, both the East as well as the West has used the logic, reason, and intuition in combination. It is nobody's property. It is ever human being property, I would say. Now, these different approaches, if we see the logic, reason, and intuition in scientific solutions, or for that matter, in any of the solutions, if the problem is very, very fundamental, which sits on the border of the philosophy to that of the science, the complexity will be very, very high. When the science, pure science, it comes, of course, the complexity will be there, but it will not be as complex as it is. Just like, for example, the question of the origin of the universe or what is life itself. It is a complex phenomena. For this complex phenomena, the intuition in the shortest time, it gives the holistic answers at a time as a whole. And logic and reason also give the solutions, but they take a little bit of time. Here, some of the youngsters, they must be knowing the scientists. There are different types of scientists are there. Some are purely theoretical. They are called theoretical scientists. The experimental as experimental scientists. Some are empirical scientists. And some are conceptual. They are conceptual scientists. So these different names is not something different. Now coming back to Swami Vivekananda, all of you would have known by now from the series of the lectures, Swami Vivekananda attained the transcendental knowledge through inward journey, the gnana, what is called the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he had acquired the knowledge. They acquired the knowledge of oneness of the entire cosmos. There is no differentiation, no demarcation at all. This acquired knowledge, he, through this one, by application of this known knowledge to the unknown external knowledge, the prescience of the externals, vijnana, in the domains of physical, biological, and chemical sciences, there he has made some of the significant remarks, or maybe sutras, I will call them, on which the later 100 years or 125 years of research has vindicated his postulations. I'll go through those things a little bit briefly, but not very extensively into those things. And you must also remember Swami Vivekananda laid the foundations of science. Of course, in India, you know it very well, Jamshedji Tata, the IASC, TIFR, BARC, ISRO, how they have grown phenomenally. Similarly, in the West, he inspired Rockefeller. The Rockefeller Foundation has come and Chicago University has come. It is very interesting. In 1907, the very first Nobel Prize to Michelson has come for the velocity of the light. This velocity of light, knowingly or unknowingly, entwined with Vivekananda's scientific postulations. And similarly, Professor Chandrasekhar of India, he got the Nobel Prize when he was a professor at Chicago University. And from the Chicago University, many more Nobel laureates have come. So what I would like to say is that both in India as well as the West, especially America, Swamiji's seeds that are sprouted, they have become a big banyan tree. And this particular thing you can see in the Large Hadron Collider at Geneva, a huge experimentation of all the national scientific communities to find out the fundamental particles of the matter. In that laboratory in front of them, as a token of gratitude, or I would say the love or the recognition, the Nataraja statue has been established. It is a unique feature, when there are so many countries are there. Yes, Indian Nataraja, which represents the yoga or Vedanta, has been put. It is nothing but the representation or a remarkable gratitude or respect paid to the Swami Vivekananda. Now, as I was saying, normally, most of the innovative things, they come from every person has got some known knowledge is there, even they write from the child. This known knowledge, it may be there in the mind, brain, subconsciously, sometimes coming out consciously. And when the problems are there, immediately it tries to connect the known to the unknown to find the solutions and all the things. Here in the case of Swami Vivekananda, how he made remarkable statements about the science in various domains, not in a particular field, in almost all the domains. He had the fundamental knowledge of from Nirvikalpa Samadhi of oneness of the whole universe. This known knowledge, when he went abroad, when he found some of the problems, the then persisting in the Western countries, he applied to them. This application is nothing but through intuition that what he has done. Now, first example I show you is that Swami Vivekananda, 1895, he went at that time. The then concepts were space, time, energy, matter, or separate four parameters. But Swamiji, he felt, no, there cannot be four, they're all one. And in the process, I don't go much into the details. He happened to meet Tesla, and with Tesla, he made extensive discussions, and he explained how all these are four interconnected and how he is envisaging this energy and matter, they are interchangeable in space and time. And then he asked to produce a mathematical equation, how all these converge into a single force, that what he called as force at that time in that language. So what he means is that in space and time, energy and matter are one and the same. That was Swami Vivekananda's concept of physical sciences. Exactly in 1905, all of you know, Einstein established the grand equation E is equal to mc square, where E is the energy, m is the matter, and c the velocity of the light. As I was telling, the Michelson who got the Nobel Prize for the velocity of light, you see how nicely it got embedded into this one. So Swami Vivekananda's intuitive mind, it was thinking about the energy, matter, space, time, and the fundamental reference point. So this is one of the examples where Swami Vivekananda's concepts, pre-science, I call as the pre-scientific theory or concept, has gradually proved, and Einstein, you know very well, he got a Nobel Prize. And then I turned to Swamiji on biological sciences. In biological sciences, all of you know very well the Darwin's theory. Darwin is a semi-god, and Darwin's evolution is very well known, even till today. It is well accepted not only in the biological sciences, even the other fields also, evolution. With time in space, the evolution has to take, yes, that evolution is there. But Swamiji, when he heard about when he knew what are the limitations of this Darwin theory, he said, the evolution is not the alone. Evolution is always presupposes the involution. Or what he means is that involution and evolution, or they are built in, they are hand in hand. If we see the seed and a plant, the seed is the plant or the tree is evolution out of the seed, and seed is the involution of the plant. So like this, many of the examples can be quoted. So this half theory of evolution of Darwin has been supplemented, complemented by Swamiji with involution. Now today, in biological sciences, involution theory around that one has been concentrated very well. And the second biggest statement of Darwin is that theory of survival of the fittest and struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. Everyone knows it very well. All the science students, especially even 10th standards, they know this one. But Swami Vivekananda, he says, this probably is correct, but it may be limited to the animal kingdom. For man, it doesn't apply. By struggle or constant fight and fittest, has not become a Buddha. Buddha has evolved. His consciousness has evolved. And Buddha, by himself, the life that what is there, Buddha is the evolution, and the protoplasm is the involution of that one. And what he said is that this struggle for existence and survival of the fittest at the man level, human kingdom level, should be symbiotic relationship. Symbiosis and cooperation and symbiosis, these are the two words that Swami Vivekananda has used. Where does this stand? If we see Nobel laureate Goodwin, he declares that struggle for existence and survival of the fittest in the biological dynamics, it does not stand. It does not stand. And Darwin himself, he said, for the complex mechanisms of molecular system, if one can find that are existing, probably his theory would fall down automatically. I will not go much into the thing, but what I would concentrate is that the cooperation and symbiosis, whether it has become true. Here, Nick Lane and McMahon, two distinguished scientists from Europe, they have made some experimentation. In that experimentation, one cell went inside the other cell. If we apply from the angle of the Darwin's theory, the two cells must fight together, and in the process, one cell was to die. The other cell only will survive because the strongest, mightiest will survive, the other one will die. But to the great surprise of the scientists, what is found is that these two cells, when they are one inside the other, the small cell started giving energy or not taking energy and started releasing the energy to the bigger cell. In the process, the small cell became a dwarf and bigger cell became bigger and bigger. In the process, mitochondria has formed. So what it means is that the cooperation and symbiosis is one of the vital things, even in the life systems. So Darwin's theory probably has to be revisited or being revisited and is extensively studied in the light of Swami Vivekananda's cooperation and symbiosis. A further example I will give you of Swami Vivekananda's vision of cooperation and symbiosis. In 1977, discovered in 1977 and confirmed in 2012, black smokers. These black smokers, the bacteria, exist in symbiotic relationship with other members of the ecosystem. This is nearly very deep inside the earth. There the pressure is very high, the temperatures are very high, oxygen is not available, water is not available, but we feel for life, these two are most important. But without these two, they live in cooperation with the ecosystem. They take some of the materials and then they survive. So this vision of what we see, Naina Sese, Sharda. Now, after saying this one, I just go to the chemistry.
Yeah.
In the chemistry, it is very interesting. In the chemistry, just 1 minute. Sorry, please.
Slide one.
In the chemistry, Swami Vivekananda said, from one element, the rest of all the elements have come. Is it true? Is it true? And if we see the periodic table, there are a large number of elements are there. And there is one element. With the advent of the Nobel laureate Einstein's discovery, which is accepted that the mysterious fundamental element is hydrogen. This hydrogen is nearly 95 to 99% of the entire Hydrogen is the first element. The second element is helium, and the rest of all the elements that are followed. So what Swami Vivekananda he has said has come true with the Nobel laureate work of Einstein. So in chemistry too. Now, if you see what is happening in physics, his mind is working on oneness. All the four different parameters combined together into one. And in the case of the biology also, if it is only one, where is that? It has to fight with something else for struggle for existence. There is nothing. So that oneness mind is there. And the chemistry also, these elements apparently looking different elements, they are all embedded or evolved out of the one fundamental element that is of hydrogen. If I keep on saying, probably there are many of the things. If time is there, I will revert back. But some of the things in physics, chemistry, biology, we have seen the fundamental knowledge, fundamental basic things, how he attacked. Now, at Almora, he had a vision in 1890. The vision is that he says, I just have passed through one of the greatest moments of my life. Here, under this peepal tree, one of the greatest problems of my life solved. I have found the oneness of microcosm without of the macrocosm. The universe, entire universe is macrocosm. Man perhaps can be called as microcosm. But with reference to man, the bacteria, much further lower, maybe the fundamental microcosm or the single cell microcosm, they lie. The entire life is governed by one principle, that what his vision is. This is a challenge for the scientists. But if we see in a different angle, in 2011, there is a Nobel Prize for Physics recognizing the origin of the macrocosm, the universe, from Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory, what it says is that some billions of years back, it is a singularity, unimaginably small singularity. The singularity, when it exploded, the time and space started. In time and space, the singularity or the supreme energy has exploded and became the manifested thing of what is the universe. If we look at from the physics angle, what the laws that apply for the universe should also apply to that singularity. Now, actually, this is one of the biggest problem in the classical physics for that of the big bodies and that of the the fundamental particles. This problem I'll come back a little bit later. So the Swamiji's vision of microcosm and macrocosm are governed by the same principle. From one angle, if we see, yes, it is true. But from the fundamental point of view, life point of view, one has to still investigate. And Schrodinger himself, he says, all our physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, all the other laws, they are falling short in defining and exploring what is life. So when that life is known, and that life which exists in single cell, and the life that exists in the universe, the life that exists in the cosmos, probably, maybe one. The day will be a grandiose day for the whole humanity and for that of the scientists. And Swamiji, always the words of what his science looks to be very simple, but they are a profound knowledge is there behind that one. Swamiji, the way he said on theory of relativity, he said something about theory of uncertainty. Theory of uncertainty for that one, he said, suppose a train is going, we want to find how fast it is going. To measure that velocity of that one, there must be one instrument. To calibrate that instrument, there must be one more finer instrument. And for that finer instrument, there must be one more finer instrument. And if we keep on going, probably it will come to the mind. The mind is fundamentally is uncertain. So the whole knowledge of this one is uncertain, is uncertain. So Vivekananda is very, very confident. For science, he has said, what the scientists are finding is relative truth. It is never the truth. It is not the absolute truth. Why it is relative truth? The relative truth because today the concepts and the instrumentation, what it says about a particular thing, after some time, the concepts may change, the instruments, their values may be better improved. With that one, a new value may be coming. At that time, we call that one as improved value, but it is a relative truth. That truth with respect to the older truth is the relative truth. So this relative truth and uncertainty, fundamental particles like electron, proton, that of the photons and all these things, whether they are particles or waves, they are uncertain, uncertain. So Heisenberg, he applied for this and he found the iconic formula theory of uncertainty in 1932. So Swamiji's vision of what he is telling as a simple thing through an illustration of the train, it has become a profound theory which has been proved, and it has got the Nobel Prize in 1932. And then I come slightly in a different thing. Swamiji, he has said about the universal mind. He said, we were talking about the relativity theory, and with Tesla, when he was talking, he was saying in space and energy time frame, the energy and matter, they converge and become a force, and that force, what is that going to disappear? That what we call as the universal mind. Swamiji has coined the word universal mind. This universal mind, all the individual minds are interconnected, that what he has said. What is it true? Yes, the Bohm and Braun, they found the holographic universe. In this holographic universe, what they found is that the universe information, even the hologram, divided into billionth and billionth of the piece of that one, that piece also contains the entire information. So what Swami Vivekananda has said, Swamiji has said, of the one mind contains the knowledge of the entire universe. The Bohm and Braun, the Nobel laureates, they have found through that one, through the holographic mind of what we call. And then the Scientific American itself, they have devoted very extensively to this holographic mind. And this mind is part of the universal mind in actual communication with the whole world. Now, a lot of research is being done on this one. Still, mind itself, the science, it has not touched anywhere, even the peripheries. What exactly is the mind? What is the composition of the mind? What are the characteristics of the mind? And what is the features of the mind? Mind is uncertain. Mind is uncertain. Now, we are talking about Swamiji was talking about the universal mind, holographic mind, all these things. I leave it to the imagination of the listeners of what he was telling. Now, one more grand theory that Swamiji has proposed, partly it has gone through and partly left to the scientists coming for the future generations. There is a big debate between religion and science. On one side, the religion says it is the creation of the whole universe. On the other side, the scientists say it is the evolution. Swami Vivekananda, he says, it is neither evolution nor creation. It is manifestation. It is manifestation. What is that manifestation? Manifestation of what? What is that fundamental thing? What is the reality? behind this entire cosmos? These are the fundamental questions. I'll come and touch this one a little bit later. Again, once again, you see the quantum particles. As I was telling earlier, a quantum particle, if there is one slit, it will pass through. If you close that one slit and open the second slit, it will go through the second slit. If the scientists try to find through which slit it is going, all of a sudden, they turn into the wave. So these quantum particles, they behave sometimes as particles, sometimes as the energy, matter and energy are interchangeable. Now the scientist has got the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that when he is observing the quantum is changing in reality, its real nature. Is there any consciousness for quantum also? It is a big question mark, whether consciousness is the basic reality or whether consciousness of the observer on the observed is having the problem. If such is the case, the whole universe, the day-to-day life of what we are seeing, is it real? We don't know, because it depends upon the observer's consciousness. For the observer's consciousness, the Supreme Lord, Sri Ramakrishna, he has seen the whole world as one, bubbling with the divine, the consciousness. For the other person, it is some other thing. The same world, the same universe, the same people. For one man, have all the consciousness, the whole thing looks as divine, as one. For the other person, it is something different. Here, I gently, in a little bit humorously, I touch. If we apply the Darwin theory, the whole human kingdom has come from apes. So we are all apes. But Swami Vivekananda, he has said, the same human kingdom, hey, you are Amrita Putrasya, you are the children of the God. You are the children of the God. Maybe the conscious levels of Darwin and that of Swami Vivekananda are different. If this observer is interfering or observing the thing, the way they look at the thing will be different. That's why we say, most of the people, love thy neighbor as thyself. When you love, the whole world will change. Our conscious level will change. But the question is, scientifically speaking, whether this reality of the universe, underlying principle, is it consciousness? It is a big question mark. Now, Swami Vivekananda has raised 130 years back, 135 years back. Now, today, consciousness occupying the central focal plane in scientific community, the observer effect, and as well as that of the consciousness, or the most important struggling things. People are breaking their heads. This is where exactly, whether the logic and reason will come or whether the intuition come. Sri Ramakrishna, he has attained the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Holy Mother Sarda Devi, she got the Nirvikalpa Samadhi knowledge, and Swami Vivekananda has got the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. What is this Nirvikalpa Samadhi? The individual mind entangled with the universal mind. It is equivalent to the quantum entanglement. In 2021, they found quantum entanglement. This quantum entanglement is that some billions of kilometers away, one quanta is entangled with this quanta. These two quanta behave exactly the same way. There is one very stunning story is that a twin couple, twins born on the same day, maybe entangled twins. They are born, they look alike, they behave alike. They got married exactly the same day. They got married to two sisters. They are also the twins, and they gave birth to their children on the same day. Whether it is entanglement principle or whether it is coincidence we don't know. But the entanglement principle is one of the most fascinating things. In quantum entanglement, information communication is there. That is how the quantum computers are coming. Artificial intelligence is coming. Sri Ramakrishna's mind, Swami Vivekananda's mind, entangled with the universal mind. When they entangle, the universal mind has communicated the secret behind the universe, that of oneness. That oneness, whether it is consciousness, yes, scientists we have to wait and see whether they can find out whether it is true. And here, Swamiji has thrown one more big challenge for the scientists, whether consciousness come out of the matter or matter has come out of the consciousness. As per the scientific theories, ultimately, the whole thing reduces to the either energy and matter. If it is matter, where from this consciousness has come, whether matter has produced the consciousness, but Swamiji says matter has evolved from the consciousness because reality is the consciousness. Now, this is one more biggest, toughest problem for the scientists to find out whether consciousness produced matter or matter produced the consciousness. A funny story I will tell you before I conclude in another 2-3 minutes. Is really the universe infinite? One day Swamiji was giving a class. In that one, he used finite is infinite, infinite is finite. And one lady got up and asked Swamiji, you are saying on one side finite is finite, infinite is infinite. On the other side, you are saying infinite is finite and finite is infinite. How you can say contradicting? Then Swamiji, he says, yes, what I said is correct. Shall I prove you as a scientist? She said, yes. Then he asked to bring one piece of paper and she brought the paper. He asked her to tear that one into 2 pieces. After doing that, he asked to make it 4. After doing that, he asked her to make it half. And then he said, please kindly go home and keep on making the number of the pieces to half of what they are there in your hand. And then she visualized they will result in trillions and trillions of molecules. Then she fell flat at the feet of Swamiji. Swamiji, yes, this finite paper contains infinite number of particles. Yes, finite is finite, infinite, and infinite is finite. That is how our Purnamata Purnamidam sloka also has come. Now, the question is that whether this intuition has been only for Srinivas Ramanujam and Swami Vivekananda. There was a big research that has taken place. And that research thesis, what was found is that they surveyed all the Nobel laureates. They said 75% of the people, they said, when they are working very intensely, when their mind is contemplated on that one, or when they are relaxing, all of a sudden, a flash has come. You call it as intuition or a soul, a call from the soul. But we got an answer when we applied that one, it became a big theory. You see Archimedes' principle or Einstein's theory or Newton's theory, so many we can say. So this intuition is built in so many places. Even doctors, intuitively they see, look at the patient and give the medicine. And teachers also, intuitively they find the best students and they give the coaching. So this intuition has pervaded. Each and every person has got intuitive power, but we are not aware of that one. If we can consciously be aware of that one, we can make best use of the intuition and produce the best of us. In the years to come, artificial intelligence is going to play in all our robotics, and in artificial intelligence, intuition is going to play a very, very vital role. So now, Ranjan, he has said, Swamiji has given some clues also how to improve your intuition. In this one, the mind engineering, I will say, this mind engineering is nothing but concentration with purity, patience, and perseverance when these things are developed, the intuitive power will come. From that intuitive power, the rest of the things will follow. So in conclusion, Swami Vivekananda gave reorientation to modern science. The first spiritual scientist I call, scientifically spiritual and spiritually scientific personality. That's why I said he's a universal, unique, unparalleled personality. His science is immortal, and the concept that what he has said, maybe, it reminds me, Swamiji has said, I gave enough to the world, and that 100 years, maybe one more Swamiji has to, Vivekananda has to born to understand the consciousness, the reality of the universe, the man, microcosm, macrocosm, how long it will take. It is left to the imagination of the viewers and the listeners. Thank you all, my dear friends. Thank you very much. It is the other dimension of Swamiji, but how much the youngsters can make use of it, I simply say, I experienced it myself. I practiced this one in my life. In my life, daily, I sit for 20 minutes before I go to the office. And then many of the complex problems, the solutions used to flash, not that day, maybe after a few days. So the majority of the things could be done within the shortest time. If I can do, a village boy, all of you can do. My dear best friends, young friends, thank you very much. Thank you, Ranjan. Thanks to the Ramakrishna Math and Mangalore University, Swami Vivekananda Study Circle for inspiring, igniting the young minds, the future Indians who carry the flag of Bharata Mata for the rest of the world. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed a motivational and thought-provoking session, and where you give a hopes for all of us that if the person like you can achieve, even every youngsters can achieve. So really, it was inspiring, sir. And you also highlighted the Swami Vivekananda's scientific contribution to the modern times. And indeed, the great scientists of our modern era have widely recognized that the power of intuitions is an important ingredient and an essential component of creative thinking, which leads to innovative discoveries. Vivekananda and those which were relevant revealed thoughts. The next 120 years of progress of modern science are good examples. Swami Vivekananda's concept of unification of science and Vedanta are now aptly revealed. So this is a conclusion which I've taken from your own book, Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist, Dr. T.G.K. Murthy. My dear friends, this book is available in our bookstall. The numbers will be shared after the session. Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable thoughts. Thank you so much. So let's move towards another segment of this session, the special invitees thought. So among with us, Dr. Chandrasekhar Sorake. So he's the leading gastroenterologist of Mangalore city. At the same time, he is a humanitarian and he's a devotee and the follower of Swami Vivekananda. Sir, over to you. I request you to address the gathering.
Namaste. Pranams to one and all. I hope I am well audible to everyone.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. At the outset, I would like to thank Ramakrishna Math Mangaluru and Ranjanji for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this study group and to share my insights. I would like to thank Murthy sir for this profoundly insightful talk and very enlightening talk on Swamiji's thoughts on the teachings of Swamiji, its relationship to science and intuition, and how in depth and systematically and scientific manners sir approached and discussed this topic was wonderful. As a person of science, it was very fascinating, and I'm really very thankful, sir. I'm very grateful to have been a part of this session. Kanda goes back to my school days. I'm lucky that I was born into a family where Swamiji has been a part of our family for generations. We have generations of my family have been inspired by Sri Ramakrishna, Shardama, and Swami Vivekananda. And as a child, I was always fascinated by Swamiji. I always had a photograph of Swamiji in my room. This is a photo of Swamiji that was in a seated pose, cross-legged, that was taken in Belgaum. And it profoundly inspired me as a child. Various quotes and messages of Swamiji deeply touched me and inspired me in my day-to-day life. Usually, for a person of science, when you look at religion, it's equated as being a very emotionally appeasing topic. And while religion is equated being very emotional, Advaita Vedanta can feel very dry and intellectual. In this context, I remember an incident when I was in college, and a question was asked to all of us in college once. It was asked, if there is anyone you could become for one day in your life, who would that be? Without hesitation, I answered, that would be Swami Vivekananda. The reason is because I always felt I was amazed by Swamiji's genius mind. At the same time, Swamiji was a personification of a very caring and loving and quite an emotional person too. But he seemed like the perfect synthesis of the head and the heart. And it fascinated me to know how it felt to be such a person. How did such a person who is an Atma Jnani perceive the world around him? What was his attitude to the world once he attains the knowledge of the self? I felt that if I could experience what that is, even for a single day, I would never settle for anything less until that experience has become permanent. Science, as our knowledge of a particular subject advances, this is the knowledge with Paravidya, or this is the knowledge with Aparavidya. That is the knowledge pertaining to the world. But however, with knowledge of the self, this is something that is quite different. It is said that it is not something that changes. Once you truly experience or understand, this knowledge doesn't change. So the rishis of India, while you talk of the Western people, when we talk of the Western scientists and the Western people, and how a concept that was proposed by a particular scientist today might change, or a contradictory theory might come in subsequently. The ancient rishis of India, who were the subjective scientists and the drishtas, they intuitively in their meditations and contemplations discovered various truths. They taught this to their students, and the entire scientific process was validated because their student was able to experience, understand, and reproduce the same. Now, coming with the modern age, we lost touch with many of this. A lot of factors played force over hundreds of years of enslavement from hordes of brutes and foreign forces, a feeling that of certain sections of society where this knowledge is private to them and not shared to the common masses. All this made us lose touch with the knowledge of the Upanishads. And it is around this time when ignorance and superstition became very rampant. And when I think it was probably the lowest point in India, it was the blazing sun. He dispelled the darkness of ignorance and spread the message of the ancient rishis to one and all in a language that was easily understandable and approachable to common man. I remember a quote of Swami Nivedita. She says about Swamiji, for he himself had plunged in the depths of realization that he preached, and he came back like Ramanuja only to tell its secrets to the pariah, the outcast, and the friend is amazed to see how he had, and there's an explosion of knowledge, and it is very difficult to even master one single topic. It is amazing to see how Swamiji had extreme clarity and mastery over every single topic that he touched. How is this possible? And the premise of this comes in the Mundaka Upanishad, where sage Shaunaka asks sage Angiras a question. Kasmin bhagavato vijnate sarvamidam vijnatam bhavati. What is it that knowing which everything becomes known? The realized ones have shown that through realization of the self, a deep knowledge and understanding external can be easily grasped, and all things external can be easily grasped and one intuitively knows things then. This we see this in Swamiji's The Path of Self-Inquiry. I believe that an intuitive man can excel in his field. Such an intuitive living seems to be the only solution to all the world's problems for all external problems begin with the erroneous internal workings of a disturbed, misguided, or uncontrolled mind. So, taking inspiration from Swamiji, let us all rouse ourselves to work ceaselessly towards that goal. I hope and pray that we all live our lives truthfully and intuitively and achieve success in all spheres of our lives. Thank you. Hari Om, Jai Ram Krishna.
Thank you, Doctor, for such an insightful words. So thank you so much. And you have put your experience and Swamiji's teachings in a nutshell. So it means a lot to us. Thanks for your valuable time. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
So let us move towards the question and answer aspect of the session. So we have some of our participants who raised their hands. Now with us, Dr. Gayatri Manchi, and now Madam, I have made you a co-host. Can you please unmute yourself and ask a question to Dr. T.G.K. Murthy?
Sir, namaste. Namaste. ಸೌರಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾಂಡುಕ್ಯೋಪನಿಷತ್ತದ ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಲಾಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
Yes, it's a question to the Chandrasekhar sir. Sir, are you there online?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah.
The reason why I touched on this statement is I remember hearing one of Murthyji's talks long back. I think this was an IIT Madras, and he brings up this premise of this exact statement of man's quest to know knowledge. And see, with
the audio is very feeble. That's why I had to ask the question. Audio is very feeble.
To the external world, you can only be learned step by step. But the ancient Indian minds were fascinated. Am I audible, Ranjanji?
Yes, there's sir, there is a little network issue. So can you please repeat that?
Am I audible now?
No, sir, you're not audible. That's why I had to ask. If it is consuming time, I think you can WhatsApp to me. My number is available in the group.
So what better is that I'll just pass Dr. Sir's number to Madam.
So
please.
Yeah.
Sir, you
Am
can
I audible now?
Sir, no, you can turn off the camera and you can speak, sir. That will be audible at that time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Is it better now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah. So the question is, the question that I mentioned was from the Mundakopanishad, where Shaunaka asks Angiras the question, Kasmin Bhagavato Vijnate Sarvamidam Vijnatam Bhavati. That means, what is that, knowing which everything becomes known? So this is something that has fascinated the ancient Indian students or sages for eternity. That is, what is it that I can, knowing which everything becomes known? So I said it is with this context that the whole quest for self-inquiry has begun and gone forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll pass your number to Madam and she may call you, sir. Yeah. Yes, with us, yes, we have Kavya Shri. She has raised her hand. So Kavya Shri, can you please unmute yourself and ask question to Murthy, sir?
Hello,
Yes.
sir. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, my child. Audible, my child.
First of all, I'm so glad to be here in live and with you, talking to you. I have a question about the materialistic life. I had this question from many days. My question is, like, we all belong to the God, and the God exists everywhere, even within our souls, and even after our death, we are a part of God's. They are a part of God. Then why do we have to leave the materialistic wealth and go into a spiritual thing, leaving all the materialistic life behind? And that's my question.
Yeah, it's a very wonderful question. Very wonderful question. Thank you, my dear child. You see,
Thank you, sir.
Swamiji, he has said the absolute. Absolute is nothing but God. This absolute God, the entire universe, pervading in the entire universe and every person, when it is passing through time and space and causation, when they are passing through this one, they become finite. Where from this time, space, and causation has come when everything is infinite? That is, he brings the word Maya. This Maya, its origin, how it is come, it is not known at all. It is beyond the pervasion of either the spiritual or the other thing. That's why they call it as ignorance. Because of the ignorance, we see the only one God, the only pervading the entire universe. Because of our ignorance, we see it as many. For that one, Sri Ramakrishna gives the example, sun is only one, but if there are finite number of mirrors on the floor, in the mirrors we see the sun, they all appear as different suns. It is not different suns. It is the same sun reflected from these small, small pieces. Like this, the infinite, when it becomes finite through law of causation or space-time, they become this finite. And that's why this Maya, we have forgotten ourselves. We have forgotten ourselves. When we remember our true nature, when we remember our true nature, all our problems are gone. What is the true nature? When you sleep, dreams will come. At that time, you feel thirsty. Unless water is given in the dream, you will not be happy. Is that dream water is correct? When you wake up, you say, I am dreaming. I had a dream of water and dream thirst. But in reality, it's not. So we are all sleeping. We are dreaming. We are all under illusion. We are all under ignorance. We are all under the purview of Maya. So this infinite God has become the infinite number of individuals and particles. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, everyone has got his own way of looking at God, and the ultimate goal of life is to see that reality that I am God, and you are God, everyone is God.
Yes, sir.
Am I
Thank
clear?
you so much.
Am I clear for you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you, Kavya Shri. Gayatri ma'am, do you have one more question to ask?
No, I don't have. Sorry.
Oh, yes. Okay, ma'am. Yeah. So I got a message in a chat personally where one of the youngster has asked the question where, sir, how to develop a intuitiveness being a student, how to intuitive intuitiveness on a daily basis. So do you have any, you suggest some of the, yes.
Intuitive.
Yes. So do you suggest any activities or for the process to develop such kind of mindset?
Yes, it's a very, very important question. For that one, fundamentally, I remind each and every one, each one of us has got that intuitive power within us. It is dormant, it is there, it is there. For example, I tell you, suppose a person gets some particular problem, he thinks one on solution, immediately he thinks in his mind and gets the other, one more solution also he finds. And after some time, he pursues the second thing and come back to the saying that my first thinking was correct. I have not followed. This is the experience of many people, many people. The first thought that what I get is uncolored, spontaneous. If we are aware of that one, if that awareness can be increased, our intuitive mind will be always telling us to increase that awareness. The mantra that what Swami Vivekananda has given is that meditation of having that purity, patience, and perseverance, and watch for it, I was telling you, I had a very big problem. I don't have solution, nobody was giving. And then it flashes. So everyone is having, I will say the otherwise, mother's intuition towards the child. Mother knows what child wants. Even though whether child is able to express or not, mother knows. That is what is called mother's intuition. Especially, it is left brain activity and right brain activity. Ranjan, you please kindly take it a little bit seriously. All our education is left brain activity with logic and reason. We are not taught with the right brain activity of imagination. And imagination, when it is not, with Shraddha, is nothing but intuition. I'll tell you, when left brain is on, the right brain will be off. When right brain is on, the left brain will be off, just like a switch. So when nighttime you dream, but not daytime. If you daytime you dream, it is daydreams they call. So nighttime you dream, and nighttime you are not in reality. So this, when once you have the right brain activity for that one, playing of the extracurricular activities, say for example, Einstein, he used to play violin quite a lot. And many of the scientists, they have the other activity, something or other. So the intuition array, waking up is that on a particular problem, keep on contemplating. After contemplating continuously, you take off, either you take for a walk or you go for some hobby or activity. Suddenly, it comes to you as a flash of mind, a solution. When you catch that one, aware of that one, you can implement that one. The students, especially, I tell you, it is not exaggeration. I used to study the books in my graduation and post-graduation. And then at the end of towards the examination time, if I close my eyes, I can see the page number and the content in that one. I used to copy from that page of the mind and write the answer. That is how my career has gone. So it is the training of the mind and awareness of that one. If people who are not self-aware, the problem is coming. Self-awareness comes, automatically intuition will come. In colleges and other places, youngsters must be taught with extracurricular activities. This is much more important, along with their fundamental things.
Yes.
But everyone has got the intuition. Everyone has got the intuitive power. As I said, everyone has got, for a given problem, two question answers will be coming. The first answer is always intuitive thought.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such an insightful reply. Yes, we have Harshita. We'll go for a last question of this session. Yes, please ask. Can you please unmute yourself, Harshita?
Namaste.
Please.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please go
My
ahead.
question is whether there is any interconnection between telepathy and institution, or is it one and the same?
No, telepathy is reading of the mind of a person which is far away from you. It is entanglement of the minds. Here it is in your own mind, the thought comes from subconscious mind. It comes out, it is intuition. But telepathy is you are influencing the mind of the other person, or other person is influencing your mind through telepathy. It is entanglement. I told you that quantum entanglement and the entanglement of two individual minds, they are entangled. The information can pass, but intuition is in individual mind, just like instinct. Nobody need to teach to eat. Nobody need to teach to sleep. Just like any animals, everything, instinct is a basic feature for all living beings. Without teaching anything, it comes. And logic and reason is by educating ourselves to such an extent it comes. When we further refine that one and purify the mind and upgrade that one, the intuitive mind will come. So some of the sadhus and all the other thing, the moment they look at the face of the other person, they can read intuitively what is the state of their mind.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I recognize the presence of Professor Kishori Nayak, Professor Paulji Aquinas, Dr. Vijay Kumari, and the principal of Govindasa College of Mangaluru, Dr. Krishnamurthy sir, for their presence over here. So let us move to the last segment of the session, the vote of thanks. So among with us, Professor Vishalakshi B from the Department of Chemistry and the Deputy Director of IQAC, Mangalore University. Madam, over to you for a vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all. It's my pleasant privilege to propose vote of thanks at the end of this motivational lecture, the 16th lecture of the series on the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda, which is being conducted by the Swami Vivekananda Study Center of Mangalore University, along with the Sri Ramakrishna Mission of Mangalore. So I am extremely happy that our weekend has been very fruitful. We have been listening to Dr. T.G.K. Murthy, a distinguished scientist and fellow of prestigious Indian Academy of Sciences. Professor has taken us through the progress of science over centuries, and it has been really surprising to know how science has been always connected with spirituality, and he has unraveled to us another face of Swami Vivekananda, which has not been explored so much, how he has been a first spiritual scientist. And it has been really surprising to know that every concept of science can be connected with spirituality. And Dr. Murthy has spoken a lot of analogies between the science and the spirituality, and every word he has spoken has a lot of knowledge in it, and it needs a lot of contemplation, and we can spend hours together thinking about these things to understand the intricacy that is involved in it. And I'm sure that some of these things have given us thought for our mind, things like coining the word universal mind. And he says that each mind contains the entire information of the knowledge, and the matter and energy relationship. We have been studying these as concepts of science, and how we can connect it with the religion, and spirituality is another aspect. And it was interesting to know that can quantum particle has consciousness? The same world can be looked at by different people in different angles, and the information that it will convey will be different based on the angle from which we look at the world. And the other aspect is the reality of the world, and whether the underlying principle is consciousness. One has to think about these things, and the matter has come out of consciousness, or the consciousness has come out of matter. These are things which can be argued at length, and it is also nice to see the scientific temper in Swami Vivekananda ji. The small doubts that were raised by the common people, how Swami Vivekananda looked at it and gave convincing answers in a very simple way. And that is something that we all have to practice as teachers and scientists. I am extremely happy that this lecture has been very fruitful, and on behalf of the Vivekananda Study Center of Mangalore University, I would profusely thank the speaker, Dr. T.G.K. Murthy, for spending time with us. Thank you so much, sir. I also thank my special invitee of today's program, Dr. Chandrasekhar Sorake, the leading gastroenterologist of Mangalore, for the personal reflections, and how his life has been influenced by the life and teaching of Swami Vivekananda, and how one can excel in life with these principles practiced. Thank you, Dr. Sorake, for being with us this evening. Professor Shripati Kaluraya is the convener of this study center, and he has been organizing these lectures on 12th of every month. And the choice of speakers has been very well made, and all the lectures have been very fruitful. And along with the Ranjan Bellarpadi of Mangalore Ramakrishna Mission, this has been going very well. And I thank both Professor Shripati Kaluraya sir and Shri Ranjan Bellarpadi for your organizing of these lectures. Thank you so much. I'm happy to see with us my colleagues, Professor Kishori Nayak, Professor Ganesh Sanjeev, Professor Paul Aquinas, and many more. Professor Chandru Hegde is with us. He has been very active and in organizing these programs as a convener of these programs. And I see many of my other colleagues, along with the principals of colleges and teachers of various colleges. On behalf of Mangalore University, I thank each and every one of you for being a part of this program and for your active participation. I would like to thank the people of media for giving a good coverage of this program. It is also live streamed on YouTube so that many of those who miss this talk can go through it at the later stage. Thank you so much for the coverage. I thank each and every one present here with us attending this program. Thank you, and we look forward to more such lectures in the days to come. And I hope the younger generation is inspired by these programs and make use of it to excel in life. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ranjan. Thanks, everyone.
Ranjan, you're not audible.
Sorry. At last, before we conclude, little announcement. So in one chat section, they have mentioned, sir, can you suggest few simple books of yours which we as a beginners can read about the present day topic? So there's with the same topic, the title Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist by Dr. T.G.K. Murthy. This sir has written a wonderful book, the short handbook published by Ramakrishna Mat Chennai, which costs 65 rupees, which is available in our Ramakrishna Mat Mangalore bookstall. We'll post the contact number and the book photograph where you can call and order the book, where sir has extensively conducted a thorough research on various topics. It has about 20 chapters and an overview of this book and man's quest for a truth, and Swami Vivekananda's contribution, and Swami Vivekananda on biology, Swami Vivekananda on chemistry, Swami Vivekananda an intuitive scientist, elements of scientific methods, like such many attractive title is mentioned over here. Please buy the book and you can read for your personal reference. Sir, please.
Ranjan, one small information.
Yes.
Based on this, one well-known journalist, he made a movie documentary.
Yes.
It has won the Indian International Science Film Festival award, second award, that is going to be released end of this year. This is just for information of the people.
Yes. It is very happy and proud.
Abhijit Das Gupta, he is the producer and made out of this book the movie, which we hope everyone will enjoy, which has captured the minds of international community and got the second best award.
Yes, it's a very proud that this book is coming into the 5 episodes of a documentary. It's a great news for all of us. So let us stay connected for the documentary to come, and we can witness and watch this documentary. And this book, meanwhile, this book is available in our bookstall where you can buy it and you can read more about the topics on Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist by Dr. T.G.K. Murthy. So my dear friends, this is all about session 16 of Viveka Vani, a series of lecture on life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. Yes, madam.
Are these
Yes.
books available in the study center at Mangalore University?
Yes, one copy is available in our study center library. And for the personal copy, we will post the contact number of our bookstall and it will be delivered to your doorstep. That is very
That's
much possible. Yes, and you just place an order, it will come to your doorstep and they will facilitate. And by buying the book, we can support the author and the literature indeed. So this is all about session 16 of Viveka Vani, a series of lecture on life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. The topic was well presented by Dr. T.G.K. Murthy, a distinguished scientist on the topic Swami Vivekananda, an intuitive scientist. Thank you so much. This talk is available again in the YouTube. Whenever you feel missing some lines, you can go back to YouTube and click it again. And for the previous talks of a series, till 15, this is available in our YouTube channel, Ramakrishna Mutt Mangalore. Just go and there is a playlist called Viveka Vani. You can get all about 10 to 12 Viveka Vani lectures by eminent speakers, which had happened in the previous time. So again, thank you so much, sir, T.G.K. Murthy sir and Chandrasekhar sir for your presence, and also thank all the members of Mangalore University and the participants who are present here. The students of Govindas College and students of Bosco PU College, Vijay Kumari Madam, and all the faculty who are present over here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste.